I have no words. I have no words. So now I've got a brake fluid leak. It's literally raining up from there somewhere, so I've got no idea what's happened. Hello there and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment. This is part 4 on the Range Rover video, where I'm going to take the pan off, basically check the solenoids, check the wiring inside and stuff like that. So let's get straight to it. Okay, so we've got a package arrived for the Range Rover. Guess what it is? So we got a transmission service kit for it. So we got a new filter, 10 litres of trans fluid, a new gasket. So my plan, after what you've seen previously, is I'm going to jack it up. I'm going to drain the oil into a container. I'm going to measure exactly how much oil I take out, take the sump off. I'm going to take the loom out of the gearbox, check that for shorts, damage, that kind of thing, and then obviously I'll put it all back together, put new oil, sort of the same quantity, back in, and then obviously I'll get it checked for level on a ramp. I've jacked it up at the front, 2 axle stands. I also left the jack under there as well. I took the offending connector out of the multi-plug and plugged the, this is the second ECU, the first one I put in. Just because I wanted to get it started up so I could raise the suspension, so it had a little bit more height at the rear. I'm just going to go make myself a cup of tea and then wait for this to dry out, because I'm working on the dirt and the mud. So it's just in the sun. I'm gonna let that dry out so I can put that under there so I can lay on it. This is an old boot mat, actually, from one of these. So it's quite handy when you're working on the gravel and whatever. Slide that underneath. It's quite a nice platform to, well, I say nice, it's not nice at all, is it really? But I haven't got a workshop, so this is what I have to deal with. Yeah, right. What's that, Allen? That's an Allen bolt. And then we got Torx and another Allen. So drain it out and undo all the bolts all the way around. I don't know how much of that you got because it wasn't recording. We'll let all that drain out. That's all the oil drained out, all the bolts taken out bar one. They're actually T27s. I can't video this when I'm going to take it off because I haven't got anything to hold the camera with, so I've left one bolt in. I'm going to undo that bolt, and because this fluid's going to go everywhere, because this is tipped back slightly, not a lot came out, which was surprising, bearing in mind all the fluid should be in the box now, but it's probably all back here somewhere. So yeah, I'm going to drain, take the thing down. It's probably going to go all over the place because there's still going to be a lot of fluid in here. Yep, as I suspected, it all fell out the back of the pan and it went everywhere. It wasn't too bad. So that's the filter. 2 bolts, one there. There's one back here somewhere. And then this is the loom. Get this filter off, and then I'll quite a bit more oil will start draining out. So yeah, this is the pan. I mean, if my memory serves me correctly, they've got receipt for this having a replacement gearbox at 100,000 miles. Somewhere around then, 101 rings a bell. So in theory this has done 40,000 miles, I'm assuming, on its original oil. So I never know. I'm not a gearbox specialist. I'm not even a gearbox whatever, but I don't know what I don't know what is normal. I'm assuming that's relatively normal. So obviously we're going to give this a clean up all the mating surfaces and obviously the one on there. Wait for it to stop dripping everywhere, and then I'll get in there and get the loom out, and I'll cut back in once I've actually got the loom out. I found the fault. So just to go through it with you, you have got two voltage wires that go from the ECU, which I'm assuming is 5 volts, goes down to the gearbox. So one of them, I've already identified this purple wire is shorted to earth. It disappeared when you unplugged the gearbox plug. So that is pin 11, I believe. Yeah, pin 11 on that plug, and then it's pin 21 on that plug, which is the yellow with the blue stripe on it. So them two 5 volts which go down the loom. So this is the gearbox loom. So one wire from the ECU does one set of solenoids, and the other wire does the other set of solenoids. So these are the solenoids in the gearbox. Now I believe one wire does one set, which powers one set, and then the other wire powers the other set. So on here they're both purple. So we've got a purple wire there, and then we've got one behind it, behind that orange wire. So there's two purple wires. So those two purple wires, they go down and they loop in and out. So they loop in and out and then along, and then in and then out and along, and they go to the various different ones, but not all of them. And then you've got the other purple wire which does the other ones. Now, to get this out, not this relevant, I've had to cut these because I couldn't undo. There's a bolt that holds in a sensor. I couldn't undo the bolt. It's seized in there. So I've cut them. I'm going to join them, solder them, heat shrink them, whatever, back on, or I might get a new loom. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it dawned on me that if it's shorted to earth, there isn't an earth on this loom. So if I take the loom out, I'm not going to be able to find the short. But buzzing through all of the wires, I couldn't find, what was it shorted to. It had to be short to the gearbox casing, and there's nothing obvious on here, nothing's rubbed through. So my second thought was then, well, maybe it's the solenoid as shorted to earth. So the solenoid in the gearbox, which would be in the gearbox, which would be earthed. Then you've got your two terminals on the solenoid. Obviously one's power, and then you've got your signal from the ECU to tell it to switch on and off, on and off, on and off. So they shouldn't be earthed. The two pins that are on the solenoid shouldn't be earthed. So one obviously has a PAL going to it, which will be one of these purple wires, and then the other wire, depending on which one it is, will be signalled by the ECU to turn it on and turn it off. So that was my next thought. I could only think, well, it must be one of the solenoids that's just melted or shorted to earth. Under here, you've got all of the solenoids. Okay, okay, and then on the solenoids you've got two terminals, one there. Okay, so we've got the multimeter in beat mode. One end is earthed, which I've just got a clamp on there which goes down to one end of the multimeter. You've then got the solenoids. That one there, that one there, that one there, that one there. No, see these are earthed. The bodies of the solenoids are earthed, okay? There you go. There's our problem. That one isn't.
one isn't, that one isn't, that one isn't. So that one there, shorted to earth. So that's our problem. I need to whip that out, replace it. I got it out. So there's a plate, a metal plate. It slides up and it hooks in. It slides in and hooks all the solenoids in, and then there's loads of screws, T7, T27 screws all the way along here. So you have to take them all out, all the way along. And this plate then comes down, and then you just need to put that in there like that, and just lever it, and it just pops out. And that one obviously I've taken out. Which is here. So that's terminal to terminal. That's the casing. That's intermediately there. We have got a resistance there, very, very high resistance. So if I put it to the other one, we haven't got direct short, but it's good enough. So this is basically connected one terminal up to the other. I wasn't expecting this to work. I was expecting it just to be a big spark, but it was definitely shorted, wasn't it? It was definitely none of the others. Right, so I've had a look up on eBay for that number at the top there, the 0501 208, 35 quid brand new. So this is the old solenoid, and this is the new solenoid. So it's the old one, it's the new one. It all checks out fine. So I'm going to put it in, connect the loom back up again, and then I'm going to test everything again just to make sure. I literally put the pan back on just with a couple of bolts just to keep the elements out of it. So it's been 10 days now since I left it, and look how much oil is dripped out over that period of time. I can't believe that. That is loads. This was empty. This pan was completely empty, so that's just been dripping. So that's just amazing. The longer you leave it, the more oil that is got to be. I'll check it, but half a litre maybe not that much. I've just popped that in. I literally just had to wiggle it and tease it in, lubricated the O-ring, and it just popped in. That's the metal plate in, slots in, and then you've got your screws. Tighten them all up. These are all in. So all I'm going to do is clean up, get rid of all the old gasket, clean all this surface up, and then I'll get the loom plugged back in and get it fixed back into its hole. And then I'll test everything before obviously I put the pan on. I might also plug it all in, turn the ignition on, because this shouldn't do anything, because I'm going to start the engine and then see whether the codes go away. So I've put all this, as you've seen, the solenoid in. So I just thought before I put the pan on and fill it up with oil and test it, I'll just check to make sure the codes had gone, which they have. Obviously it's got no gear oil in it. I can't start the engine yet. So gearbox operation, it says, is normal currently. These obviously seem to be just default numbers. These are under force outputs, so system pressure solenoid and all those solenoids. So I've individually, so what happens is if you select one of them, it's going to pulse that solenoid on or off. I can barely hear it with my ears, so you're not going to be able to hear it on the video. So I've done that on all of these in turn, and they all click underneath there. So that's a good sign. And I've done the same on all the shift solenoids as well, individually, and they're all clicking. So it's all looking good. So I think that's it for now. Codes are gone. Clean up the pan, new gasket, new filter, and fill it back up with oil. That's all the solenoids in, all the wiring's in, and all of the surfaces have all been cleaned up. So that's all done. It's all, obviously the gearbox is all plugged back in.
So I just need to give that a final wipe over that surface, put the new filter on. So I've got the pan all cleaned out, given the bottom a bit of a wipe. So this is a new filter with a new O-ring on there. So I'm just going to smear a bit of lubricant around there. 2 bolts, and then I'm going to get under there and screw that in. The filter's bolted in. I've cleaned all of the gasket surface all the way around again, and this is the new gasket. And what I've done, using some super glue, been just the odd place here and there, I've put the tiniest little blob, not on the raised surface there, just on the corner, just to literally just hold it into place while I get it up in there, because it's a bit awkward and the gasket will be shifting about and it'll be popping out and stuff. So that literally, it's not going to affect the mating surface, and then literally it just holds it in place just whilst this is going on dry. I'm not putting any sealant on it, they don't use sealant. And then I'm just going to pop it in and put some bolts in, and tighten it up. I'm not going to torque it up. It's probably a torque figure, it's probably 10 Newton meters or something, but I'm going to do it by hand, and then I'm going to just tweak them evenly all the way around. Just keep going round, keep going round, keep going round. So there you go, all the bolts all in all the way round. There's only one which is a bit, this one here, which is above this cross member. I had to use 1/4 inch ratchet and just get it up there and just tighten it up. Right, I'm going to have to apologise for the wind noise. It's blowing an absolute gale out here. There's not a lot I can do about that, but I've got this 12 volt transfer pump that has failed me every single time I've tried to use it, but I'm going to give it another go. So basically I'm going to pump as much as I can into the gearbox until it starts to dribble out, and then obviously I'm going to start the engine up, put some more in until it starts to dribble out with the engine running, go through all the gears, and then you need to let it warm up, 38 degrees, 40 degrees, something like that. The gearbox needs to be in, and obviously needs to check it again, but obviously I can't do that, so I've pretty much got 5 litres. I got exactly 5 litres out the first time, and there was about another half a litre in the pan after I left it. So I'm going to put basically 5 litres and another half a litre in, or as much as I can possibly get in, to get it to somewhere I can basically put it on a ramp and actually check the level correctly. Okay, so I have put literally as much as I can in there with the engine running. So I've put the cap back in again, so that's all I can do for now. So I've pretty much used a full 5 litres. There was a little bit at the bottom which the pump couldn't get, and then basically that much. So I reckon I've put more in than I took out. Well, I'm confident I did. Definitely took more out than I put in. So I went to jump inside the car to put my foot on the brake and go through all the gears, but the pedal was just sinking to the floor, and I just thought, I don't understand why it's doing that. I was pumping it up, it wasn't making any difference, and every time I put my foot down it just was dropping, and I just thought, I don't understand this. And I checked the brake fluid and that all seemed fine. I got a brake fluid leak. It's literally raining up from there somewhere, so I've got no idea what's happened with that. Maybe I'm hoping, I don't know if it's the master cylinder seals are blown, or whether it's the brake pipe. But I mean, it looks like it's coming from the master cylinder to me, so that's a complete and utter ball ache now, isn't it? So now I've got a brake fluid leak. It was fine when I parked it up, so why now, as it... I have no words. I have no words. So I'm going to plug the diagnostics back in. Now the engine's been running, I'm going to check the codes again, make sure there's no codes in the ECU. Then I guess I'm going to have to look to see where this brake fluid's coming from, because it's just everywhere now. It's either a pipe that's ruptured or just the seals in the master cylinder have just decided to just go, so I need to look into that. So what that basically means is I can't get it off the axle stands, I can't take it for a road test, I can't take it, there's no point taking it off the axle stands, so I daren't put it in drive without the brakes fully on, putting it in gear on an axle stand, on axle stands. It's just, I'm not going to do it. So that all that's now been thrown out the window. So okay, so the engine's running, looked at the codes, there's no codes. So this is what I wanted to see. Gearbox operation, normal, 1M. So it's obviously thinks it's in manual 1, which it, you know, probably the last place the ECU thinks it was in. So that's it, that's good. I mean, apart from actually driving it, which I can't, it's all looking good. And then we've got some numbers here as well, so we're good. Well, there you go. What can I say? Another stumbling block for this Range Rover. So I know it's par for the course with an old car. So what you're going to do, I'm going to crack on and I'm going to get it sorted, basically. So you'll see that in the next part 5, and then obviously we'll continue on from there. So thank you very much for watching. Thumbs up if you like this video. Thank you for getting this far. If you're watching this, I hope you've learned something, and I hope you can take something from this video and take it. So like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time. See you later. Bye.